Okay, hello. And Alicia Carvello and Michelle, is it
Hello.
Most? Hello. Serene, Serene W. Hello, Carolyn. Hello, Diza. Welcome. Okay, if we could, first thing, I just want to welcome you. This is such a busy time of year. Thanks for being here. Congratulations for giving yourself this time. Um, and hold up your labyrinth. And if you don't have it, maybe you can go print one out. And I was going to show you, let's see, we've got, yeah, I was going to show you a couple of, just kind of quickly. Um, there we go. And go back to, I'm sorry, guys. I've got like, if you don't have a labyrinth printed out, now I'm sort of stuck here. All right. I can't, there we go. Are you seeing my screen?
No,
Okay, I
No.
can share it. Here we go. There we go.
there you go.
Maybe. Yeah, I didn't start sharing it. Um, if you go to one of these places, you can print out the first one, you print out a labyrinth that looks like this one. The second one, you've got an option, this one or a classical. Or you can put an app on your phone, Labyrinth Journey, and I just love it. I use it on days when I can't walk, and it looks like this, and then you start walking and the path turns blue. It's really kind of cool, I mean, it works better than you think it might, and you have to really concentrate. Well, thank you for being here. I kind of I think it's interesting that we are here. I'll share again in a minute. Um, It's like, why? Why are we here? Why are we here? Why am I doing this? Why is this happening? And I really think I read something today by Omerchu. Dermot Omerchu has this Joy to the World, and he has rewritten lyrics to Christmas carols. And he's done it this way because he thinks there's something archetypal about getting together, singing Christmas carols, remembering. And I think there's something about being together in a circle. And if you pull a circle, hi, Patty in Rome, yay.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to push you off the continent before it's time.
December 29th.
Okay, you'll be here for Christmas. Good. Well, what I was trying to say was I think this is archetypal. And he says that he's calling sacred songs of deep archetypal meaning, but archetypes are shared patterns of human sense making and behavior that are deeply meaningful and universal to human experience. Universal to human experience. Older than religion,
Oh, yeah.
which is why we get together in this communities, creation spirituality communities. Hmm? Spirituality is older than religion. And please, I didn't say anything else. This is just older than religion. Um, First of all, I want us to sing happy birthday to Matthew. Matthew's birthday is today, and he is 84. And I know that because I'm also a dragon. I'm a water dragon, and I think he's a metal dragon. And that means he's 12 years older than I am. So I know what I am, and so I know what he is. So let's sing. And that means you have to stay muted because it sounds cacophonous if we sing together. But we're talking about Matthew Fox. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Matthew. Happy birthday to you and many more. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. I don't know if he's going to see this, but he'll know that we care about him. Um, okay, I want to start with a land acknowledgement, and if you are so inclined, you can. I'm going to rename myself, and I'm going to put in here where I am. So I'm in the Monacan land of the Blue Ridge in central Virginia. So that's where I am. And I just kind of added that. That's where I am. I'm in the Monacan land of the Blue Ridge of central Virginia. And I like to do that, especially before a virtual labyrinth walk, because labyrinths are about sacred space, the connection of people to place. And human history begins with our indigenous ancestors. You know, even if we can't trace ourselves to one of their groups, the peoples who were here before us, because a lot of people were here before we got here, and a lot of animals and other beings were here before we got here. So I'm going to start with a land acknowledgement, which means I'm going to share my screen again. There we go. And let's see. This is interesting. All right. I learned, and you've heard this before, but I like to start with it. Diane Longboat, um, a Mohawk, Kahuntakwas, Haudenosaunee elder, teaches that an invocation of thanks should be done before anything important is started. And so before we walk, we want to put ourselves into a quiet, thankful place, a thankful place of mind. And Robin Wall Kimmerer, I read Braiding Sweetgrass, but now I'm reading The Serviceberry, and it's even touching me more, if that's possible. She is a Potawatomi. She's a mother, a plant ecologist, a writer, and State University of New York distinguished teaching professor at the SUNY College of Environmental Science and Forestry in Syracuse, New York. She serves as the founding director of the Center for Native Peoples and the Environment. Just amazing woman, helping us to see with both eyes, science and the other way of seeing that indigenous people have had before they knew about what we call science. She teaches us that kinship begins with paying attention to all the more than human beings around us. When we do this, we develop a gift thinking, seeing how truly blessed we are. And that leads us to gratitude and thinking of these beings as our kin, our relatives. Therefore, we want to pay more attention to them, and the beautiful cycle continues. And I think that's just what Earth needs today. Because labyrinths are connected to both place and people, we want to deepen this connection. And now I begin with an attitude of gratitude and invite you to join me. And so during part of this, I'm going to be honoring some directions, and I'm using the elements that are associated with the directions that I learned from my friend who learned it from her Cherokee grandfather. So if you want to stand up and move around, I think that's probably a good idea at that point. I'm kind of operating a couple things here, so I won't be doing that. I honor the cosmos, 13.8 billion years old. Our story is that old. The observable universe is 93 billion light years across. That big, that old, that big. Constantly expanding. at a speed that even exceeds the speed of light. Yes, our common story is very big and very old, very wise, and very, very creative. I honor our cosmos, our container. I honor our home from the Thanksgiving of the address of the Mohawks. Let us now put our minds together as one and send greetings and thanks to our Mother Earth, who sustains our lives with her many gifts. When I look north to the earth of which I'm made, I thank you, Earth. When I look east to the air within my lungs, I thank you, air. Take a big breath. Oh, and when I look south to the warmth of the sacrificing sun that provides us with photosynthesis and plants, even though I can't see you right now where I am, I thank you, sun. When I look west to water without which I would die, I thank you, water. The stars above me provided the dust which formed the calcium of my bones. Thank you, stars. The minerals, microbes, and mycelial systems beneath me provide unseen grounding and essential communication. Thank you, Foundation. Thank you. The soul within me yearns to acknowledge and come into balance with the web of which I am just a tiny part. I'm so grateful. I honor the plant beings and the animal beings. Look at all the kinds of animals. I honor the indigenous peoples before we begin, for their memory is the correct starting point for human history on Earth. They were the original custodians of this land. They held ceremony for eons. And here in central Virginia, in the eastern foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, I want to try to get her face. There we go. I honor the Monacans, the largest tribe in Virginia today. Tribal Chief Diane Shields is pictured here. I regret that you had to fight in U.S. courts to define your ancestral land. Thank you for your wisdom. I honor the entire Blue Ridge ecoregion. I honor my teachers, Lauren Artris, Marge McCarthy, Corlita Benares, Matthew Fox, Thomas Berry, Brian Swimmen, all the many wise elders and youngsters who have taught me the ways of body, mind, heart, and spirit and how they are integrated. I acknowledge a connection with all labyrinths everywhere. I'm grateful for this amazing archetype. I invite the ancestral spirits to guard us, bless this walk. I invite the angels of light to safeguard all walkers. I thank the great mystery who conceived this, who became this, and who remains with us. We are so very, very grateful. Okay. And so tonight, becoming the light, becoming the light. We've got about 3 days, I'm told, um, where things appear to sort of stand still, more or less, in the heavens regarding length of night. Oops. Oops, little early. Let's see. Oh, there are so many festivals of light at this time. In India, it happened already, but you have Diwali. And of course, this was from a few years ago. Sorry, I didn't update it. Hanukkah, I think, begins maybe the 25th this year. And you have festivals in Thailand and oh, the Lantern Festival in China. I was there for that, and it's just beautiful. All the little lights are put out on the water. Then you have St. Lucy's Day, Santa Lucia. What I didn't know, I knew about the Scandinavian, the candles in a wreath on the head. I didn't know it comes from Sicily. Lucy's father was Roman, and she actually she needed the lights on her head so her hands were free to give food to the Christians hiding in the catacombs. I didn't know that. And I got to tell you though, the lights in the hair, I would rather not do that. It's like, no, thank you. No candles by my hair. Even now it's short, but no, thank you. This just scares the you know what out of me. Then you've got a festival of lights in France and Berlin and Kwanzaa, which starts after we celebrate Christmas. Many of us celebrate Christmas. I know. Maybe we have connections to all of these because I think it would be easy to understand how for ancient peoples and when we talk about this and we enter this circle, we're entering that morphic field that Rupert Sheldrake talks about, where we can really feel connected to our ancestors and all they bequeathed us, good things that I think we've lost track of in many ways. But we we can do that at this time of year. Yeah. I love Christine Walters Paintner. And she has a book, Sacred Time, Embracing an Intentional Way of Life. And she says, I've discovered tremendous grace from the simple act of paying attention through the year and slowly cultivating a deep trust in these fundamental rhythms of nature. And what I started to say a little bit earlier was it's easy to understand when we enter that morphic field how people who relied so much on the sun to to give them warmth, but to grow their crops when they finally entered agriculturalism. And they must have just, I'm sure at some point they knew, yes, the sun's coming back. The sun will return. We will have warm weather again. But it's nice to celebrate that which you believe in. And they believed in the sun. And now we know that the sun is sacrificing itself for us every second. Every second it's dying. And there's a fundamental cycle in that also, the birth, life, death, rebirth cycle. I'm going off in too many directions, but just this week, just December 18th, so today's the 21st, so Wednesday, this came into my mailbox. Earth and her creatures teach us how to pray, how to worship and praise, but only if we listen and pay attention to their rhythms in this world. So she asks the question, can you see how the fundamental rhythms of dawn and dusk, light and dark reveal Earth as the original liturgy? Earth as the original liturgy. That came from her book, Earth, Our Original Monastery, Cultivating Wonder and Gratitude Through Intimacy with Nature. And I've read a lot in this year, especially about entering the darkness, which for me is, for us, it's path two, the via negativa. There's a beauty and a need for restfulness in there. I know that many of us have difficulties, and I think about the many people on Earth, not least of which would be the people in Magdeburg, Germany, just recently. And and all the children who have been moved from their homes time and time again in various parts of the Middle East. I think about that. There's tremendous communal grieving that I think needs to take place, but there's also we need rest. We need to recoup and fill up our well, and wintertime and going into the dark to just sit and cuddle by ourselves under the blankets or by the fire if we have people to do that with. We need that. The rhythm, Earth teaches us the rhythm of, okay, it's time to hibernate now. The trees aren't blooming in vast profusion of blossoms right now. They've lost their leaves except for the evergreens, and they're quiet. But even the evergreens probably, well, maybe they don't have berries. I don't know. But so anyway, I kind of wanted to bring that in. So a little bit of let's bring our body prayer into this. And even if you can't get into this pose, stay in your seat, plant your feet on the floor, and try to do the top part of it. And I'm going to recommend don't look up with your neck. Keep your neck, your chin tilted down a little, and look up with your eyes. And if you can get out of your chair, and you may not be seeing me, so just keep looking at that nice little picture there. You're seated, but your arms are up and you're looking up. So your feet are connected to the earth, and your eyes and your fingertips, your upper body is reaching for the stars. Take a breath, and when you're ready, you can stand up or unfold just a little bit. A physical expression of two powerful connections, your connection with the earth and your connection with the sun. Thank you for joining me in that. When I read Brian Swim and Thomas Berry and the universe story, we're reminded over and over again. The most significant change in the 20th century, it seems, is our passage from a sense of cosmos to a sense of cosmogenesis. From the beginning of human consciousness, the ever-renewing seasonal sequence with its death and rebirth cycles has impinged most powerfully upon human thought. This orientation in consciousness has characterized every previous human culture up to our own. During the modern period, and especially in the 20th century, we have moved from that dominant spatial mode of consciousness where time is experienced in ever-renewing seasonal cycles, which is what we're celebrating tonight, to a dominant time development mode of consciousness where time is experienced as an evolutionary sequence of irreversible transformations. Cosmogenesis. Time is evolutionary, and we can't go back. We can't go back into that Big Bang anymore. Jenny Odell talks about life beyond the clock. Learning to speak a different language about time would bring climate justice and self-care together into the same effort, which I'd never thought about before. We know chronos, chronological time, is quantitative. How many hours did you work? How many hours did you sleep? How many minutes did you meditate? Kairos is qualitative. You can be creating a poem for what seems like 5 minutes, and maybe it was 90 minutes. The distinction between Chronos and Kairos is crucial when it comes to thinking about the future. She goes on, what I find in Kairos is a lifeline. And let me say, I'm talking about this tonight. I think it's very interesting when we're talking about seasonal changes, but when we enter the labyrinth, when we are on a labyrinth walk, especially when we do it the way we are in a virtual walk, we're alone, we can be very meditative. We can enter Kairos. We can cross that threshold. A sliver of the audacity to imagine something different. Hope and desire can exist only on the differential between today and an undetermined tomorrow. It's Kairos more than Chronos that can admit the unpredictability of action. Fundamental uncertainty lives at the heart of every single moment where our agency also lives. It affects what seems possible in every moment of your life. It also affects whether we see the world and its inhabitants as living or dead alive. Admit that everything and everyone previously left out of the picture is equally real in Kairos together. And see time not as happening to objects in the world, but as being co-created with the actors of the world. This is an issue both of justice and of practicality. As I read the climate crisis as the expression of beings, human and non-human, that need not be so much saved as heard. And if you've never walked up to a tree or a plant, or even the plant in your house, and said, may I be in your space? May we have a conversation? May I listen to you? It's a very interesting experience. You might want to try it sometime. Listen to what they're saying. Sometimes they're saying, just give us a chance. The late physicist David Bohm defined matter as frozen light. And in that respect, we are frozen light. We are frozen light. During the pandemic, I was in a lament workshop, just a one day, couple hours. And one of the people I was in the workshop with wrote this, and it struck me so deeply. I've been sharing it at this time of year ever since. I hope you appreciate it. Hanukkah 2020, a lament psalm by Avina Ward. Fake news, fake virus, fake election results, real divisions threatening the sanctity of the common good. There's desecration in the temple myth, democracy's sacred statute, toppled by suspicion. Shadows darken the path forward. This year, the oil of gladness is running low, the milk of human kindness not flowing, plugged up like an infected duct. Everyone's in pain. Some are longer suffering. Who will light the candles now? Who will sing the songs? Who will teach them to the children while their parents stare at screens or root through empty pockets? Where's the miracle of compassion for those who die alone in hospitals and in tents, for those born this year to inherit the earth? We must be the lamp. We must burn much longer than we had planned, burn oil we didn't know we had. We will find in the burning the consummation of parts of ourselves once thought inflammable, the embers of which will light the way for those to come. This year, the oil of gladness is running low. We must be the lamp. We must burn much longer than we had planned, burn oil we didn't know we had to light the way for those to come. So John O'Donohue, last thought I want to leave you with, tells us that the imagination loves symbol because it recognizes that inner divinity can only find expression in symbolic form. The symbol never gives itself completely to the light. It invites thought precisely because it resides at the threshold of darkness. Through the imagination, the soul creates and constructs the depth of your experience. Imagination is the most reverent mirror of the inner world. So tonight, as we walk, and I think you all have walked with me before, I recommend that if you have the kind of labyrinth like this, this is what we're going to listen to as we walk. Nathan's going to play some David Lance for us. Madre de la Tierra, Path with Heart, and Return to the Heart. And let's see, I'm going to stop share, maybe. There we go. If you have this kind where you can put your finger in the little groove, then I recommend that you put it in a comfortable place, maybe on your lap, and just circle your labyrinth maybe 3 times, and then try to walk with your non-dominant hand if you can. Um, Otherwise, maybe just draw little X's and O's on your paper. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes to share any insights that we have. Oh, good. So Lucia got downloaded. Excellent. All right. Have a good walk. L.R. Knos says, do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended. Not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. You can have a few minutes here where perhaps you have an insight or a thought that came to you while you were walking. Sometimes we're inspired. Of course, it's possible that you dozed off while you were. It happens, you know. Our next time, we'll talk about that in a minute. There will be a next time, we think, in February. And I see a phone number. I don't know who this is, this 929-436-5276. And it may be that you are not able to share your screen. That's okay. You're welcome. Any thoughts?
Not sure how uplifting it is, but my thought was how important it is for us to be able to walk along our journey with all the chaos. Because there's just so much chaos and makes it harder to walk along the journey. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. I was just talking to someone who said, and I think, no, she said, I know that the four paths, creation, spirituality, the four paths have everything we need to get through the chaos, to get through the rough time. And I think that's true. We focus on what we're thankful for, first of all, and trying to see with new eyes and trying to celebrate.
Persist with hope.
Yeah.
And hold on to our power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to start tonight what Roxanne suggested for the 12 days of turning using Timothy Snyder. And I'm not sure which one I'm going to start off with, but maybe like do not surrender in advance.
Yeah, those were some very powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And well, going the labyrinth, I chose a different one this time. I used this one, which is beautiful. It's not kind of nautical, which appeals to me. Anyway, I've never ceased to do a labyrinth, no matter what the design is, where I'm not sure I'm going to get to all the paths. I can't see like, I mean, how lost can you get on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper? But I'm going and I'm saying, I don't know if this is going to work. And I'm just stay in the lines there, Pat. Keep going. Just keep going. And when you keep on going, it works. It works. There's just a little line, or something that directs you. And so you can reach your goals. Can. Yeah.
Very much like life, isn't it?
Quitters never win.
And the winners never quit. I use this labyrinth. It actually is also an incense burner. So you put the incense in here and then light it and slowly burn up and around. And This was given to me by Corlita, Sister Corlita. So I was so happy to hear you mention her name, Mary Ann. And incidentally, we just saw her a few hours ago.
Is she well?
She is well, thank you. Yeah. There are good days and bad days. And so I had thought of, you mentioned a while ago, mentors and teachers, and that in this journey of ours and mine, I never get there or without, the mentors and the teachers. I've been also thinking a lot about, the light, it being solstice, of course, and playing with this word delight, when they say be the light. And I don't know, this morning I just woke up and says delight, and Jen said D like dieselite,
Ah,
I said, no, it's just
right, yes.
delight, so I walked the labyrinth, meditating on how to be delight, how to experience delight. The quote from David Bohm of being frozen light, well, frozen delight. That's an ice cream for us back in the Philippines, frozen delights. But yeah, I am delighting in that word. And so I walked in that labyrinth and came out, in this path. Delight is not for me to worry about, but delight will be there when I need it. And certainly when the community needs it. So I thank you. And also delighting on this fact that I may have traced this and walked alone. One is never alone, right? And here's, the community that walked with me tonight. So thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. And I'm thinking of, again, with cosmogenesis, how important it is to find what delights you, to be that, follow your bliss, follow your delight, because that's exactly what the universe needs right now from each one of us.
Like, forget what the world needs. Find out first, who are you and what you can give, and go do and be. Yeah.
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 So lovely to see you all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost a board meeting. Thank you, sisters and brother. And 929, whoever you are, I'm glad you're here. So Nathan, are you going to show them or am I? I want to show you one.
I just posted 2 links in the chat, and I can open them and give me a second to
Well,
share.
and everybody here should know how to go to the calendar part, except maybe 929. I don't know about. This is yes.
So this is a list of the events with information on each one, and then you can also just click on calendar and you'll see it in a calendar format. We may be changing this calendar, but it will still be, have the name and the login information, all that kind of stuff. So that's that. And then if you haven't joined us already, you can make a donation, you can make a monthly contribution, or weekly if you're that generous. That would be great. That's it.
Nathan, did the 12 days of turning memo go out?
Yeah.
Your test the test one you sent out, went directly to my trash. It didn't go to the junk folder. It went directly I found it in my trash.
Hmm.
I,
Do you have any rules set up?
I don't think I do. But the messages, often messages from the Pox community that I worship with, their stuff has also gone directly to trash.
What?
And it's not like I never sent an email to you.
Yeah.
So I have sent emails to your address, to their address, and still,
What
Are
client
you
do you
using
use?
Gmail?
no, I use AOL Mail.
Uh,
AOL Mail, which was bought by Yahoo. So anyway, that's the deal. I will look for it, dear. Thank you. I trust you.
Well, thank you for being here and blessings on your solstice and your winter and your Christmas and Hanukkah and everything. Your great turning.
Yeah.
See you next year.
Yes. See you
all right.
next
Thank
year.
you, everyone. And this
And
will be
Happy
on
New Year.
our YouTube site
You.
tomorrow, probably.
Thank you.
All
Thanks.
right. Good night.
Thanks again. Thanks, Marianne.